Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Super J Business Hour. This is Super J Business. I'm glad to be back. Check out the last couple days worth of shows. Great stuff yesterday. Great show yesterday. Great information. We're going to jump right into the news, and we'll go from Thursday into Friday, so the 29th and 30th, and we'll go from local to worldwide. Locally, we have the Intelligencer Journal, Lancaster New Era paper for Thursday, September 29th. Okay, and if you see that, TMI is 3 Mile Island. See that? It's a nuclear facility that's located not too far from here in Manheim, Pennsylvania. It's right next to the Susquehanna River, and apparently they river could rise higher than originally calculated, which means what? Another Fukushima right here in Pennsylvania. So the funny story about that would be I moved all the way from Los Angeles, California to come back to Pennsylvania to get away from Fukushima. And here I have 3 Mile Island right next door, and that's getting ready to go underwater and cause a nuclear disaster. And it starts making you wonder why all these nuclear plants magically are having trouble all of a sudden. And it's probably because they were only supposed to last for 40 years, and now magically when the 40 years is up and they still want to pump millions out of it, the government says, oh, well, now they're good for a lifetime. Isn't that interesting? 40 years to a lifetime? Something wrong with that, I think. And then it says Obama wants to appeal his health care setback to court. So he's really fighting to do this socialist, communist health care, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then you go into the same paper, Lancaster New Era Intelligence Journal, for Friday, September 30th. Okay? And it says that they're going after some area schools stumble on PSSA's ratio of county schools reaching educational benchmark drops from 85% in 2010 to 78% this year, barely exceeding statewide average of 75%. And the problem with that is that the government needs to stay out of education. It needs to let the states take back over, more limited government, and schools always ran better. People were always better educated when the states were in charge of dealing with the education department, not the Department of Education through the White House and the government, which is absolutely corrupted to break the child off from the family and do a lot of psychological damage. And then you have NATO reports drop in Afghan violence, which we should have never been in any of these wars watching our kids get murdered. And then here's a new terror threat because we got to keep that war on terror going. Model airplanes could be terrorist weapons. After an arrest this week in suburban Boston, model airplanes are suddenly on the public's radar as potential terrorist weapons. It just never stops. The terrorists are a government. They have predators, which are AKA drones, all over the place, which are basically glorified model airplanes, which they've been doing. And we're going to jump right to the Patriot News for the 29th, 30th. And they're telling forecast minor floods for Crete. Because, again, it is still raining out here. FEMA is not helping anyone. The government's not helping anyone. And no one is getting any money, and it's disgusting. And then I found out that there is a state takeover closes in. And basically the government is taking over in Philadelphia. The mayor is going to her powers will be taken away, and she won't be in charge anymore, which in a way, I never promote more government. We need local and state level government, and they've always had that power, but there's some scary corruption going on. And I found out waste in excess life and welfare program, and that's the Patriot News. There you go. And there's that article, waste in excess life and welfare program. And it says, Vance says she'll look into the Office of Developmental Programs after an official says it paid for luxury cars, a patio, a bowling alley, and more. So there you go, folks. While all of us are starving and we can't eat, your government is buying luxury cars, putting patios in, putting bowling alleys in their house, and much, much more. And now you get a better idea of your government, which wants to help you so bad. And because they're busy buying luxury cars, putting bowling alleys in their house, and putting patios in their house, then we'll jump to this paper, which is the Reading Eagle for September 29th, going into the 30th. And what's the first big head article? City poverty worse, social workers say. Because this guy has to go to a food bank and get bagels because people are putting bowling alleys and buying luxury cars. And it's just disgusting. And it says cities with the worst poverty, and it says Flint, Michigan is number one. Reading, Pennsylvania is number one, right here in Pennsylvania. Flint, Michigan, then Bloomington, Indiana, Albany, Georgia, Kalamazoo, Michigan, Brownsville, Texas comes in sixth. Seventh is Gary, Indiana. 8 would be Detroit. 9, College Station, Texas, and 10, Pharr, Texas. And poor Governor, Ron Paul is down there watching this, and he just wants, you got to vote Ron Paul. Ron Paul. 2012, Ron Paul. Let's get it together, folks. And do your homework. The guy is being hidden from the public for a reason, because he's the right guy, and they're scared of him coming in there and doing the right things, because if you haven't paid attention for the last 20 or 30 years, nothing but the wrong thing has been done. And then let's just jump right to USA Today. We're going to go right into world news, and this will be for the 29th going into the 30th. Federal benefit pensions explode. Retirement plans almost as costly as Social Security. And basically, that's right, there's no money. And there's the new faces of poverty. That's right. White America, who are they're also turning into white Al-Qaeda, veterans, or anyone like me who discusses the Constitution, which we should be going by, or the Bill of Rights, or freedom. We are the new terrorists, so they're taking away the middle class. A record 46 million of us, 18% of families are now considered poor as job losses hit the suburbs and middle class. And basically, it's going on to say, I was in California for almost a year. I just got home about 6 months ago. There is no middle class. They've won in California. They've dissolved the middle class. You're either poor and you live in a ghetto, or you're rich and you live in Malibu. And again, they're trying to appeal this Obama health care law, which if you vote Mitt Romney in, he's going to give you the same thing. Romney Care out of Massachusetts, which is the same thing. It's disgusting. Between Rick Perry and Romney, they're carbon tax. They want to carbon tax you. They want to take your guns. They want to take your freedoms, and they will do the same thing that Bush and Obama have done, except they're going to really finish it, and they're even worse. Despite intense efforts, poppy crop popular among Afghans. It says reducing the crop used for heroin is critical in fight against Taliban. But here's what they're not telling you, and you can look this up. This is mainstream media, ABC, CBS, with Geraldo Rivero interviewing our guards. They're sending our troops over there to guard poppy plants, and they are then shipping the heroin over here. That is their biggest thing. Since we've taken over, it has gone through the roof, making poppy, and which they then turn into heroin and send over to the United States. And then they bust Johnny down the street for 1 bag of heroin and send him to jail for 30 years. And they make the money. They make the money making the stuff. They make the money sending it over here, and then they make even more money when they lock everyone up for having it. Start figuring it out, folks. It's all right in front of your face. And home aid program won't hit its target because they were going to try to help 30,000 people with their homes, to try to keep their homes, which is also very scary, because then they will federalize it and they will be able to do whatever they want, take every freedom you ever had away. However, magically, they're now only to help half of that, because only 15,000 were helped and they ran out of money. So where's the money? Oh yeah, I forgot. They're buying bowling alleys and luxury cars with your money. Toning shoes case, because this is important. They're suing Reebok for $25 million because they say that those stupid shoes, they're supposed to help your butt lift up, are hurting people's backs, and they're not really helping you. And then 4 perfect weekends made easy. Go to New York City, and this is from USA Today, and it's a whole book on New York City. Yeah. And so what's the problem is that they are losing revenue in New York because no one wants to go there, and that's probably because governments are busy flying aircraft into buildings to set off false flag terror attacks so they can take every freedom you have. Not to mention, no one wants to get on a plane so they can watch their kids get molested before they get on a plane. Same with these footballs. We have to put a ban on the NFL. You're being raped before you get and go into a stadium. And as a matter of fact, we found out that the Wisconsin, congratulations Wisconsin, the Green Bay Packers said no. They said no to this nasty government that is taking every freedom you have. They said no, they are not going to do it. They will use the wand and go up and down and go around you, and then you're done. You can go into the football stadium and watch your game. They will not participate in TSA raping and destroying our 4th Amendment to the Constitution. Enough is enough, and good for you, Green Bay Packers. I may have just became a Green Bay Packer fan because of that. It's good to see somebody's going to stand up. And just if you thought it was over, don't worry, folks. Thursday, September 29th, in a quiet village and catching up to a hijacker. And this case is from like the 60s. And it's some guy they caught up to who dressed like a priest who was going to be a hijacker. And it's all fear-mongering propaganda. And that's coming from the New York Times, of course, who we know also owns our government and owns most of mainstream media. And the guy just puts it out there so that people will just be scared to death to get on planes to do anything but stay in their home and pay your government and be quiet. And it says, getting tough on immigrants to turn a profit. Global industry grows along with abuses, and they say this is happening in Australia, the United States, and London are the biggest ones, and they fly in these teams of private security and then lock up a whole bunch of immigrants, and they're making money off of it. So if they can make a buck, they'll do it. Then they release them, give them citizenship, and it's all one big disgusting joke, collecting your taxpayer dollars to do it. And again, they're talking about this other stuff, and it says Romney waits as GOP flirts with alternatives. There is no alternatives. You have to get Ron Paul in as president. Romney is a carbon. He's going to give you carbon taxes, more taxes. He's going to take your guns. And if you thought Bush and Obama did bad, this guy will finish the job. You are in big trouble if you put this man in the White House. Common sense, folks. Common sense, folks. Please, I beg of you to go to my uploads. I beg of you to go to my favorites list. I have over 650 favorites that will show you great information. It'll lead you to the right place. Ron Paul for 2012 and Infowars.com. Please subscribe to my channel. I subscribe to you. You subscribe to me. We subscribe to each other. And we start a network, folks. And we have to become unstoppable. We have to become strong. We have to watch out for each other because our government is not watching out for us. They're trying to take every liberty we have. And they're sending SWAT teams in. We're going to go to the Wall Street Journal for the 29th, September 29th, and I'll just show you. I always like to make sure you see the paper so you know, hey, it's coming right out of here. And they are going to finish destroying the EU or Europe because now they have Germans rethink ties to Europe because Germany was the last stronghold of money. Once they destroy Germany, then they have collapsed the dollar over there completely. The euro will be destroyed, and then they can come out with one. Then they can finish over here in the United States, finish killing our dollar, and then they can come out with a global currency, which is disgusting. And they also say that Obama is going to be going after Hispanics, rise in key states as Obama launches push. So Obama's going to try and get all Hispanics to vote for him, and hopefully they're smart enough not to do that. U.S. stocks snapped a 3-day winning streak, sinking as a drop in commodities prices added to concerns about Europe. Because get out of the stocks, gold and silver, folks. Gold, silver, guns, and food. Just load up. The Obama administration asked the Supreme Court, we already know, on the constitutionality of the healthcare overhaul following similar requests from law's opponents. It's not constitutional. It's so against the Constitution. Every president since Kennedy has been wiping the Constitution with their butt. Both political parties are racing to win over the surge in Hispanic population in states likely to be pivotal in the 2012 presidential vote. And I just pray that they know who Ron Paul is and they get him in. And a federal initiative that gives bridge loans to homeowners struggling to make mortgage payments will likely pay out less than half the billion allotted for it because they're putting bowling alleys in their house and buying luxury cars instead of letting you keep your home. And it just keeps going on and on. A group calling itself the Zeta Killers said it has recently killed at least 35 people believed to belong to the Zetas, Mexico's most violent criminal organization. And they're able to kill each other because your government sent 30,000 guns down to Mexico and a thing called Operation Fast and Furious, and no one got in trouble, and they're allowed to do whatever they want in this disgusting government. We are out of time, folks. If that information in itself today did not lead you to understand that your government has been taken over by the global banking elite and it is time to wake up and that they are coming after your freedoms, your guns, and your family, it's time to wake up, folks. It's time to get the information. It's time to spread the word. No more being quiet. Stand up. Fight. I'm a patriot. You're a patriot. We need to find our freedoms. We need to take the power back. Why stand on a silent platform? Fight the war. F the norm. My name is SuperJbusiness. We will be back tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, hit like. If you dislike, hit dislike. Comment in the comment box, and please subscribe. Peace in the Middle East. Peace in America. We will see you back tomorrow. Thank you. We love everybody out there. God bless.